This is one of my most controversial recommendations when I'm working with clients. In fact, it's taken some clients years to be on board with this. But I will tell you, when you implement this, you're going to create a much better community experience and help activate your new members faster. One of the first things I'm always working on with new clients is their onboarding experience. This is because that first 45 days of a customer journey are the most important. Oftentimes, they are making the decision in that 45 days as to whether they are going to stay with you or whether they're going to cancel right away. This is the time that we have their attention and we are readily able to get them to take action, to activate, and honestly indoctrinate them into our culture and how to get the most out of our membership. There's something that I recommend inside of the onboarding process that really gets a lot of pushback from new clients. But when clients implement this, it gives us a ripple effect of positivity. It helps increase retention, it creates a better community experience, and it helps increase member activation as well. What I find is that most programs, courses, and memberships, they give access to their community platform right away. So you check out, there's a thank you page. It's like, here's a link to the Facebook group or wherever your community platform is, and it's always in the first email as well. I find this to be extremely problematic. Now, I understand that when people purchase a program, the first thing they want to do is jump into the community because it's fun. And honestly, most people have found you through Facebook where they've been engaging with a Facebook group during a challenge or in your free group where you nurture people. So that's what's familiar to them. But here's the truth for most of us. Most of us, the core of our program is actually on a different platform than our community forum. But what happens is that people are so excited to get into your community that they jump into the community. They get distracted with what's happening in the community. Sometimes there's not so great posts in the community that may even impact their initial perception of your program overall, which might lead to refunds, which is no fun. And then obviously, if you're on Facebook or something like that, they can easily get distracted. And then they never actually log into your program hub where your content is. They're not so excited to start learning. They're way more excited to start connecting in most cases. So what do we do about this? Well, here's the truth. Onboarding in your primary hub is the priority. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you and I need to have a conversation. So send me a message because you should have a really robust onboarding or orientation experience inside of your program hub where all of the content is. That onboarding helps establish the culture, it answers newbie questions, it trains them on where to find helpful resources, where to find the deliverables that they're looking for, and it also just trains them in how to consume content inside of your program. Now, if people hop into the community right away, they can make the mistake of thinking that's actually the main hub, and then they're looking for the content and they can't find it. Or they can go in and start asking all sorts of newbie questions that really frustrate people that have been there for a while or people that haven't even been there for a while, but they've actually done the work at looking at onboarding and they've found all of the answers to those questions. Or they can go in there and they can start engaging on topics that they're not really fit to engage in or in a way that doesn't fit your culture, which can really rub people the wrong way and cause unnecessary conflict inside of your community. So what do I recommend? I recommend forcing people to go through your program onboarding before giving them access to your community. I know, you're already getting the heebie-jeebies, which always happens with my clients as well when I say this, but I promise you this works. So instead of giving them the link to your community right away and then trying to regain their attention to get them back into the program hub where the core of what they paid for is, we're going to get them into the hub right away. We're going to walk them through that onboarding process. We'll talk about the community during the onboarding process, but don't link to the community during the onboarding process or the same thing is going to happen. They're going to leave to join that group, get in the community and see what's happening. And they're never going to come back and finish your onboarding either. That onboarding is so crucial for so many reasons. Not only for the reasons we just talked about, where it helps them understand how to use your program platform. It helps remind them of all of the wonderful things that they've bought. It helps establish culture, answer questions, all of those kinds of things. But from a tracking perspective, we need to know if people are activated or not. And the only way to know that is if they've completed onboarding. That's how we know that they have the information that they need, that they've been able to log into the hub, right? If they don't have to complete onboarding, if there's no tracking mechanism for that, if we don't get the majority of people to complete onboarding by incentivizing them with community access at the end, then we're going to have a group of people who are not active, a large group of people, much larger than when we actually force them through the onboarding process before we give them access to the community. So instead, we really want to make sure that we control the messaging, that we control when they get into the community platform, and that we make sure that they have all of the information they need before entering the community platform. This also makes it much easier for us to track activation, to be able to tag members who have completed that orientation process so that we can reach out to those who haven't because we know that they are inactive members. That's going to allow us to give them the most support, and ultimately that's going to lead to the highest retention. It not only creates a better tracking experience for you as a team, it creates a better experience for the user because they get all their questions answered early on and they actually know how to use the primary program hub. But for everybody else that's been in the program for a while, it's a better experience for them because people can't get into the community until they've gone through this sort of initiation process and know all of the basics they need to know in order to effectively engage as a community member. So I know it seems controversial, I know it feels frustrating, and I know you're probably going to have some people who are frustrated when you withhold that community access until they complete that short 10 to 15 minute orientation, but it is 100% going to make a difference in your business. So before you give access to the community, make sure that new members or new course participants complete your onboarding process first. If you're somebody who doesn't have a great onboarding experience inside of your program hub, that's something that I can help you with inside of my Retain program. So just send me a DM or a message with the word Retain, or you can look in the show notes for a link to learn more about Retain. We can get an amazing onboarding process that you actually want people to go through and that they're excited to have completed in place for your program.